So our prenatal programming is strength endurance focused. We're trying to help you adapt to the postural changes of pregnancy. So as the belly grows, the tendency is to kind of lean back because the belly is growing up and out, and it's kind of lifting that center of gravity up for you. So we focus a lot on the back side, so the posterior chain, so like the back, the glutes, the hamstrings, to help you have enough strength and endurance to stand upright with your belly. That's going to help alleviate a lot of that low back pain and just pain in general in the back. The other thing that we want to focus on is we want to support these various slings of our body that support our pelvis and help transfer load from upper body to lower and vice versa. So the first sling that we're going to focus on is going to be the anterior oblique sling. It's going to go from your oblique to your opposite adductor, so that inner thigh. So those side abs, that inner thigh. And you can see that it crosses the front part of my pelvis, which is my pubic symphysis. So if you're having a lot of pain there, it's probably due to instability in that joint. And so focusing on this sling is going to help stabilize their joint. On the flip side, we have the posterior oblique sling, which is going to go from the opposite lat to glute. So this is going to help support the SI joint and those two joints on either side of your tailbone. So if you're having like glute pain or like pain on one side or maybe even both, focusing on that posterior chain is going to help support that joint. So we incorporate a lot of movements throughout our programming that focus on those anterior and obliques, the anterior and posterior slings. And then we also incorporate a lot of movements that are going to help continue to maintain your core's ability to stabilize with endurance, and then strength endurance exercises that also focus on your balance, because we start to lose our balance throughout pregnancy because we are just gaining so much weight so quickly that it becomes our kind of equilibrium gets a little bit off. So a lot of our exercises are including still like the single leg movements, and trying to work on that balance. So if you find that single leg movements are just super uncomfortable, especially in those specific joints, we need to incorporate specific exercises for those slings, depending on what side you feel more pain on. And the other thing you can do is you can start to incorporate a Pilates ball. So you can put a Pilates ball between the thighs, and that's going to help stabilize that joint. The adductors are attached to the pelvic floor, so when you squeeze the ball, it's going to help stabilize those joints for you. The other thing you do, instead of single leg, you can do staggered leg. So going from just being on one foot to just have the other foot either on a heel or behind you, just balancing. So I can still focus on that one leg, but I have a little bit more support. So those are our main modifications for the exercises, and we'll include a lot of stuff within the programming as well.